Here's 14 shillings on the drum for those who volunteer to come to list and fight the French today.
It's Militia Part 2. My name is Jesse. I'm here with Jason,
Heyo.
Michael,
Hey.
Jared,
Hey.
Steven,
Hello.
and Austin.
It is that time, folks.
And
Yes.
Hagman. Hagman's the one singing.
Yes.
And Sergeant Hagman, 95th Rifles.
Yes. Not necessarily the militia that you would think of for Warhammer. They were chosen men. But however, they're damn cool, and I think they would make damn cool militia-themed units. Anyways.
Maybe they're grenadiers.
So
Fair.
I'll point out that these guys, by like strict definition, probably are Imperial militia, like come the day. You know, that it's not like 40K quite as much, where the top 10% go to the guard, and that's just the way of the world. These guys might just be sitting on good old Earth until shit hits the fan, and then they get their fancy grenadier pants on and they go do work.
It's time to go fight the Space French at the behest of Space Nosy.
The goddamn Space French.
Yep. Where is Lord Space Wellington?
Yeah.
All right.
Probably somewhere.
Yep.
Macarius?
Macarius is supposed to be Alexander the Great
Yes.
in space.
He is.
You can tell
He is.
because of the horse.
But you
And the
could-
leopard
I
print
mean,
thing and and his
it's
story,
not a
everything.
stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, just the fact that it's just a really just sci-fi wash.
It's like a one-for-one thing.
It's
not
amazing he wasn't in the Ind sector when it all came to pieces.
It's not it's not an unreasonable stretch of the imagination to assume that somewhere in the grimdark millennium of the far future, there is a descendant of Wellington, and he is an Imperial commander.
Well, it certainly wasn't Creed.
Oh,
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. As if you haven't seen Sharp's Rifles, it's a lot of fun. Guys, Militia Part 2. We talked about the units last time. Had a lot of fun. We're taking a more laid back, little high level overview of everything going on, just because we're just having fun with this one. Again, we talked about the units last time, but Austin, you seem really keen on talking about.
It has been the happiest times, Jesse.
Yeah.
The happiest times.
Well, tell us about it.
Today we're going to talk about Provenances. And I want to start off by just broad strokes. For those of you that maybe didn't know anything about militia in first edition, and those of you that did play militia or played against militia and are now wondering how it compares. In first edition and in this edition, you have Provenances of War. Your army, if it has a force commander, can take up to 2 of these. A few of them are traitor locked, but the vast majority of them anybody can take. You can't take extra force commanders to get extra provinces. You're capped at hard 2. And before, so there's 2 big differences. One, there are 9 provinces in the 1.0 book. And we all thought that was really cool and lets you make a bunch of really cool armies. Now there are 16. Just the number of them has jumped up tremendously. And I think they're much better balanced internally. In the 1.0, there were a couple that were just real good and a couple that just kind of weren't, and you'd never see it on the table. The other big difference is in the 1.0, each province had a points cost, and a lot of them were, there's a couple that are 35. That was kind of the standard. But there were a few that were like 100 points or 50 points or whatever. Now they just free. They're free. That's the way of the world. And what Provenances do is any unit in 2.0 now, we've had our history lesson. We're in today. In 2.0, any and all units in the same detachment as a force commander with the militia unit subtype benefit from the Provenance. The only exception to that is units with the mechanized unit subtype can't benefit from the effect of a Provenance unless the Provenance specifically states it, which Sentinels. Sentinels are always going to be Sentinels. They're not going to get a lot of these bonuses unless it specifically says otherwise. And this is what you do to tailor your army. And we're going to talk about the various dream armies or armies where we had from 1.0 that were porting over to 2 and how it all works. But I figured we'd just start by running through the Provenances. Again, they're all going to modify your army somehow. They'll give generally a bonus. Well, they'll always give you some sort of bonus. And some of them also, like, they're not takeable with each other, or they'll mandate that you have certain units or not have certain units. So it's a lot of fun. So who wants to kick us off?
Go Jason. Go Jason.
All right, y'all. There's several of these I'm going to tell you about, but the first one is really simple, really down to earth. Warrior Elite. Like, are you tired of your militia having to really, clench the butt cheeks around those leadership roles? You can be slightly more laissez-faire with the Warrior Elite, because all of your eligible units and models receive +1 of their leadership up to a maximum of 9. This does shift your levy squads in the detachment to a support squad, but it also removes support squad from all of your grenadier squads. So you can take them as compulsory troops. They are line, they have a 4-up save, and there are plenty of other provenances in the line that do great things for grenadiers.
Yeah, +1 leadership. You love it.
It's +1 leadership, have actual soldiers in your army.
In 1.0, this was kind of a superfluous one because, Discipline Masters, there wasn't that big of a difference in overall leadership. Now this is a big deal.
Boy, howdy, is it a bigger
having
deal
a Astartes leadership. I mean, Michael, I want to say in our game last week, I think I passed 2 leadership tests.
Yeah, that's about right.
Of probably a dozen. I mean, it was nuts.
And even though you're going to be bringing militia masters or discipline masters, probably the changes to precision shot and the proliferation of snipers means that the leadership bonus being more widely spread makes your guys less brittle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
well,
time.
and the way militia interact with leadership, right? Leadership is lower across the board. We brought them back up to normal leadership with this, but also, hey, have you broken when you're under 50%? Your unit's gone. Have your levy broken at all? Have your fire support squads broken at all? They're gone. So this also weirdly adds some survivability to your list as well.
Big time. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do Legacy of the Great Crusade because it's what I'm bringing. Basically, all Grenadier squads, command cadres, discipline masters increase their ballistic skill by +1. And a force commander in this detachment increases their initiative to 5. This is nice. This is extremely nice because BS4 is just helpful. You know what you're getting most of the time. I cannot tell you how frustrating just basic BS3 can be sometimes.
Especially on your fancy troops.
Yes, which
especially for you Imperial Fist players such as yourself, Jared.
Yes, I am accustomed to a certain standard of shooting, and not having that is
going from hitting on 2s down
bad times.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, here come my assault needlers. 4 hits. All right.
Yeah. It sucks.
It's like when someone rich goes down into the poor part of town and they're like, "What? This is how you live?"
It's like that video of Hillary Clinton entering a 1-bedroom apartment in New York and just like
yeah. That's me.
But where these are the servants' quarters, but where do you live?
Yeah. Yeah.
I will also say it's super fun. Just the name of it. So the fluff of it is, hey, these are some old 100 units or some army regiments that, they settled down and these are their kids and grandkids, right? So they've got a certain degree of skill, if not full army. But I love that it's Legacies of the Great Crusade because that gives you the feeling that these troops have been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the 1.0 Grenadiers were BS4 base.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nod to the fact that they used to be BS4 all the time. Now, I mean, you don't pay for it. It's free. It's just a cost, an opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it a lot. And Initiative 5 on your force commander is hilarious. You're still not going to win fights against
No, you're
anybody.
not.
important.
No, you're not.
Take a Charnabal saber and go poke Emperor's children's sergeants in the soft part.
Statistically speaking, you're going to
Die.
die to a sniper rifle.
Die to a sniper rifle. Yeah.
Is what's going to happen. You're. It's just
No,
preordained.
with initiative 5, you're just matrixing those bullets away.
Not if you're in a Gorgon, my friend. You're going to get butchered by a Space Marine sergeant like you're supposed to.
Nice
But
little
by
horse
God,
crest
you'll
you
look
get
good
there.
doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Got a clan folk levy. A detachment with this provenance may choose to fill compulsory
squad.
troop choices. What?
Squad.
Not that
Oh,
one. Not that one.
That's the other one.
No, this is the horsey one. This is
This is
Oh,
Oops
yeah.
All Horses.
this is Oops All Horses.
A detachment with this provenance may choose to fill compulsory troop choices may choose to fill compulsory troop choices only with Imperialis Militia cavalry squads, with all models in the Imperialis Militia cavalry squad selected as compulsory troop choices, gaining a bonus of +1 to their leadership characteristic. This does not allow Imperialis Militia cavalry squads to be selected as non-compulsory troop choices.
You can just say cavalry squads. It's fine.
I'm going to do that from now on. I'm kind of on a
The last
We'll
one.
get it.
I'm on cruise control here in a second. In addition, a detachment with this provenance may include 4 additional fast attack choices, but these additional choices may only be used to select, you guessed it, cavalry squads. I'm going to let you guys talk today because
You can have
Well,
Turn
I
on
can't
your
talk.
Bluetooth speaker,
quick.
start playing the Hue, and get going.
Yeah. Great Genghis Khan.
Uh-huh.
Which, if anybody can't, I've done the math, and by me, I mean my calculator. That means that all up, you can bring 135 cavalry in your list, not including characters, because if you remember from last episode, you can put your discipline masters and your force commander on a horse.
heck yeah, you can.
And,
And it
Games
is-
Workshop did just tease those new Free Guild cavalry for Age
right.
of Sigmar.
Hey, you guys will take those Attilan Rough Riders and turn them into cavalry. But also, here's this.
You know, and
Spoiled for
honestly,
choice.
Also, Britannia coming back.
I kind of like the idea of modeling your 2 compulsory troop cav squads with a different unit because they have the +1 leadership, so you could
Yeah.
kind of imagine them as grenadiers on horses.
Oh, yeah, good point.
That's fair, yeah.
So you can come up with some Chaos Knights or some Free Guild cav, or hell, put them on Seraphon. Do it, please. Please put them on Cold Ones.
I had some way back in the day. My Lost and Damned army I bought at a games day when you could buy bits by weight, to date myself.
My God.
Unfortunately, I was a poor middle 8th grader, but I bought 5 of those tubby cold ones and stuck mutants on top with sticks, and they were my Trader Rough Riders. It was amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, sure, riding a horse in the Millennium and the far future's battlefield is cool, but riding a dinosaur is cooler.
It's true.
True facts.
Speaking of riding dinosaurs, I'll take this gene crafted. Once all models have been deployed, but before the beginning of either player's first turn, the controlling player must roll once for each unit that contains any eligible models on the table below. So all of your Provenance, all your Provenance models are rolling on this table. On a 1, bad things happen, right? Everybody starts the battle pinned. And this overrides, well, not everybody, whoever rolls it. This overrides any rule which would normally allow a unit to ignore being pinned, such as being clan folk levy and therefore on horses, or the Marcher Lord Warlord trait.
They get off the horses and lay on the ground.
Yeah.
To be fair, that is a maneuver cavalry can do.
Yeah.
Also, the horses lay down.
The horses lay down too. That's
Everybody
exactly
takes
what happens.
Everybody just takes a quick snooze. If you are embarked on a model with a transport subtype, then you have to get out and lay on the ground. Units
Even
that are
the
in reserve
transports?
ignore this effect and suffer no penalty or
You
benefit.
don't lay in the bottom of the Gorgon. You have to get out.
Yeah, get out of the Gorgon, lay down.
Did you have the chicken or the fish?
Yeah. Yeah, you know that scene. You know that scene at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan when they're in the amphibious assault vehicles and they're vomiting? It's that. They're just hopping out, vomiting.
I like my airplane reference better, Steven. but go ahead.
Yeah.
There's no reason we can't have a depth of references.
It's fair.
Yeah, but his was
Uh,
less depressing by far.
That's
Well,
true.
You
That's
know,
true.
it is what it is. If you go roll a 2 to 5, all eligible models in the unit with infantry or cavalry gain one of the following special rules selected by the controlling player for the duration of the battle: either Fleet 2, Move Through Cover, or Night Vision. That's pretty good. Night Vision, especially, since, unless I'm mistaken, Militia, do they have access to augury scanners?
Occasionally.
It'd be
Some,
fun if they
but
did, but not really.
Not really.
For like your mainline squads, definitely don't. So right off the bat, that's pretty helpful. Fleet 2 on cavalry is pretty good. Move through cover, less helpful, but not terrible. And then on a 6, all eligible models in the unit with infantry or cavalry gain one of the following special rules, again selected by the player for the duration of the battle: Relentless, which is great, double tap all of your las or stub weapons; Stubborn, which is fantastic if you're going to get stuck in combat; Adamantium Will, 6-up, or all of the special rules presented in 2 through 5, i.e. you get Fleet 2, Move Through Cover, and Night Vision.
And I
It's
gotta
so
say,
nuts.
that's a lovely, like, there are choices to be made there, right?
Mhm.
Like both 2 to 5. I mean, you have specialities, right? Like your heavy weapon squad is getting night vision, right? They're not getting fleet 2.
Or they get relentless.
Yeah, or if you get that 6, then it's suddenly like, all right, what do you want, night vision? Or do
They're
you
in
want
place, so they can't
relentless?
move anyways. So
They can move, it's fine. Some of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not if they're in place.
I do have to double check the core rule because I don't know if night fighting is determined before or after this would come into effect. It says
I
once
believe
all have been
it's-
deployed.
I believe it's at the start of turn 1.
You roll for night fight at the start of turn 1.
I
It
think
might
so.
it might be something that comes down to order of operations, because
Yeah.
you would start to roll before the beginning of the player's first turn for night fight, but also before the beginning of either player's first turn, you do this.
I mean,
So
there's
it-
some
One second.
there's some
We
instances
got-
where night fighting is almost guaranteed.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it
uh,
almost is with on a 2-up these days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Night Lords can just turn it on.
Mhm.
I have no doubt that the upcoming Zone Mortalis rules will have a means of just having night fighting on all the time.
Keep in mind, too, when you're night fighting, it means nobody can use a shrouded reaction against you either,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
which
And-
is terrific for heavy weapons.
Yep.
You mean with night vision?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Gene Crafted, I like it. It's fun. It's not. I think Gene Crafted used to be the one that gave you +1 toughness.
That was
Yeah, it
human
was
pellets.
100. No, Gene crafted +1 to their strength and initiative values.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
you couldn't
That's what it
get feel
was.
no pain, and it was 100 points. So I think we can all agree that this is a solid upgrade from that.
So
Yeah.
night fighting, you determine night fighting before deployment.
Ah, there you go.
Beautiful. So you'll know it's night fight before you
Before
have to make
selecting.
your choice. That's beautiful.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, just as a matter of opinion, if you guys are rolling and you get a 6, are you taking one of the 6 rules, or are you taking all 3 of 2 through 5?
I mean, it depends.
On the unit.
Yeah.
I think if
Yeah.
I have cavalry, I'm going to take the fleet and move through cover. Heavy weapons, maybe relentless. Maybe you want everything for the night fight. My grenadiers are going to want to get stuck in, so probably stubborn because they'll be mechanized. So I don't really care about fleet or move through cover, but I do want them to be stubborn. So there choices.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. That's what these Provenances really do well, I think. They make you do choices because as cool as all of these are, you only get 2.
Only ever 2.
Only
And
ever
the-
2.
The big difference, I think, between this and 1.0 was 1.0, you basically got a choice of you get to be as good as a Space Marine in like 1 or 2 areas. And that was basically it. You know, you can have Space Marine armor, you can have Space Marine toughness, you can have Space Marine strength,
Mm-hmm.
leadership. Now it's all, way more loosey goosey, which is better.
Yeah, there's a lot of everything going on in here.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's super fun.
Cyber Augmetics. All eligible units and models gain the Feel No Pain 6-up and Slow and Purposeful special rules. This Providence may not be chosen in conjunction with the Gene Crafted Providence, and any detachment with this Providence is treated as sworn brothers by any detachment with the Mechanicum faction in the same army.
Dig it.
I can't remember what slow and purposeful is.
Yeah, same.
Because I was thinking relentless, and it's like, wait, oh,
So it's partly relentless, but also it means you can't run and you can never react, which is a huge deal
Yeah.
for army-wide relentless.
On the other hand, you can benefit from cyberthurgy.
Sworn Brothers with the Mechanicum is real good.
Yeah.
You can stick a Lacrimartis Magi
Magos?
officer. Magos? Yeah. Fancy tech wizard. You can stick him around, and he can either go in the squad and just hand out Sanguine Hook to whoever he wants, or he can hang back and still hand out Sanguine Hook to whoever he wants.
It's a fun little dude.
Yeah. And also, you can now have Skitarii. Hooray!
Yay!
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
don't-
Go ahead.
Yeah. It's just that slow and purposeful is, you can fire your heavy weapons or double tap, but
Yeah.
not being able to return fire is a bit of a bitch.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, but-
It is. Because this is something that everybody has to have, right? It's not some of your militia models get it.
Mhm.
Everybody has to suffer and benefit equally.
Mhm.
This seems like the thing you take when you've got, 200 Skitarii models. Because just massed, obviously you're not reacting with them, but just massed bodies moving forward. Give your grenadiers bolters if you want. Give them las guns because you can still, double tap with those. It's
just hope your opponent doesn't rush up and charge before you get a chance.
Does slow and purposeful mean that you can't make any reactions or just certain ones?
Any whatsoever.
Any.
Oof.
Cannot react. You are essentially automata,
Huh. Good.
but
good
not
times.
fearless.
But
Definitely not fearless.
Nope.
God no.
Nope. Damn, you don't even get implacable. You're like Terminators, but worse.
I mean, you are just
Considerably
malicious.
worse.
You're way worse than Terminators.
But you know
The
what'll
other-
make it considerably better?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Mike had something else to add.
The
Ruined
other,
my segue.
the other way I think you could use this is with a hefty allied detachment.
Yeah.
Good point.
And just throwing a bunch, instead of throwing 200 Skitarii on the table, throw 100 Skitarii on the table, and then the rest of the army that's actually going to do something while the other side is having to deal with 100 Skitarii.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
still
you
probably
gotta
put
use
200
those-
Skitarii in there and still have
Like
a decent
150
Yeah, probably.
Skitarii, yeah.
Okay.
You,
I haven't
you gotta
done
use
that.
all those.
I think
Ed Secularis
180
models
if you're
for
running them as base infantry,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. A bunch of Skitarii to screen for the
600
mechanicum
points.
units you actually care about.
600 points is 200 Skitarii.
Well, I mean, you got to do something with those ad secularis models that have been relegated to a legacy document.
Right.
Rip
that
Mitralox, everybody misses you.
I don't know if anybody actually misses them, but yeah,
Do not miss.
they're cool models. But
I like ad secularis.
All right. We're going to get into, let's face it, this was kind of the auto take one last edition, Alchem Jackers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say that I took it on one of my militia armies. They were in gas mass, and I just wanted them to have that World War I vibe. And I took it, and it was real good. And it was so good that when I went to do my second militia army, I realized that not taking it kind of felt like tying one hand behind my back. Just the way of the world. You saw it a lot. In this edition, all units do not suffer negative modifiers to their leadership characteristic in the assault phase. And in addition, if less than half the models in the unit have been removed as casualties, and a morale check is made due to casualties in the shooting phase, and that's failed, they become pinned instead of falling back. If more than half, the models have to fall back or be removed as casualties, kind of as they normally would. And this one has the option to give people Friends on, which gives you Furious Charge 1 special rule for 25 points a unit.
Friend.
Not bad.
Puff them fumes.
so this is really, really, really dope for tar pitting Leviathans.
Fair.
50% of the time, it works every time.
Honestly, speaking from some experience here, this is really good. You stick your basic infantry squad with maybe crack grenades. They're wounding this thing on 6s, and he's got a 2-up armor save. But put a discipline master with him, And that dreadnought is done for the game.
He's never getting out. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
The most
You
he can
gotta-
kill is like 3 guys a turn if you charged him. And, you know, it's just good times.
I mean, at that point, he's just a taller custodian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your Discipline Master can take Melt-A-Bomb, so there's a non-zero chance of actually bringing it down.
Yeah.
eventually, in time.
I do like, too, that it's just like the first edition and that it's not flat stubborn. It's that they suffer no negatives, period, the end, to leadership in the assault phase.
That straight up won me the doubles event at Nova one year. Had 10 friggin' Night Lords with jump packs jump my squad of, I think there's like 15 left guardsmen. All of them but 3 died. No negatives to leadership and assault, bitches. They didn't run.
Kurz?
We
Who
won.
the fuck is Kurz?
Conrad Kurz is a bitch. You heard it here.
This
Well, certainly not
Batman-looking
first,
motherfucker
but-
out of here.
Yeah.
I'm way too high to understand what you're killing us about.
Yeah. They're like, you just survived combat with Conrad Kurz? Who is
What?
that? Is he like a rapper?
Dave's not here.
Yeah. You know I don't listen to hip-hop, man.
But the best thing about this, what I love about this is identical. The only difference is if they fall back under half, or if they fail leadership under half, they fall back like normal, which is kind of in keeping with the new militia rule, right? If you're reduced to half, you just have to keep falling back if you fail. They didn't want to kind of give you an out around that.
Right.
And the old friend zone gave you rage, and this gives you Furious Charge 1.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
fuck
that's
rage.
true.
Give me chain axes on my hands.
Right? But because of the other rules around militia, this is still a good Providence, but
Oh,
it no longer feels like an auto take like it used to.
It's a stupid good province.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Between
It doesn't-
Furious Charge and either bayonets or chain axes.
It doesn't feel like a handicap if you don't take it anymore.
Yeah, and there are so many other like equally good ones.
Mhm.
Like you said, like, oh, do you want chain axes? Do you want your grenadiers to be troops? Do you want both of those? Do you want Alchem Jackers? All right, which one do you not get?
Right? You can't take all the things. You can take most of them. You can have fun, but you can't take all of them.
You can have 2 things as a treat. It's like
Yeah.
Halloween.
You can have
You
some
might-
things.
Your Halloween basket is full of Providences, but mom will only let you have 2 because it's late at night and you got school tomorrow.
Yeah, she doesn't want you up all night. That's just annoying for everybody.
You're
Plus they got
militia
check-
and you're going to die and no one loves you.
Plus, they got to check the Cyberod medics for razor blades.
Oh, they're definitely razor blades.
Well, yeah, they got to make sure there's razor blades.
Right, because otherwise, what are you
Put 'em
doing?
in the Cyberod medics?
They won't
Yeah.
work otherwise.
Make sure
Well-
you check your candy. I just found Horus's speech from Istvan in my kid's candy.
Speaking of fun toys that'll annoy everyone who's not you, let's talk Survivors of the Dark Age. So this one is near and dear to my heart because in the first edition, I would take Survivors of the Dark Age, which lets you take mini Space Marines, and Cyber Augmented, because I played a hilarious little thinly veiled version of the Helghan from Killzone. So it's still pretty good. It's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. Slight difference though. So first off, any Grenadier squads and command cadres with this province can take a Legion Rhino, Legion Termite Assault Drill, or Legion Land Raider Proteus Carrier as a dedicated transport, so long as they number 10 models or less. However, they do lose your Legionis Astartes rule, which makes sense. Their ballistic skill is reduced to 3, and you gain that third line unit subtype that we talked about last time, which means every hit is a penetrating hit. However, you never give up points for nothing, which is
That
great.
is hilarious.
Aha!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Just across the board hilarious.
I mean, you've got land raiders in your militia. It's real nice, and even though, yes, everything is a penetrating hit, I mean, rhinos are so cheap. Even the gunboat Proteus land raiders with 3 las cannons are not that expensive, and they're just so hefty and put so much heavy anti-tank firepower downrange. I mean, you can't complain, and they're
You know,
still twin linked.
I think for my money, it's actually the rhinos for me. I know that was I had a militia army with this last go round, and I did rhinos kind of as an intentional handicap for theme, knowing the Land Raiders were better.
Yep.
But now, because they're third line and the way that Tank Shock works this edition and how crappy everyone's leadership is,
Oh yeah.
having access to a ton of rhinos that the other guy then needs to shoot at and don't give up
Yep.
victory points
Yep.
while they just go tank shocking everybody. I think it's I sound like a madman. I think it's a sleeper win.
Well, so here's what I like about the rhinos, right? And to a lesser extent, the Land Raiders, but most importantly, the rhinos, is that you take the unit entry from Legiones Astartes. So you're taking the Pintle mount opens up all kinds of extra weapons. You got your combis, you have your multi-melta. Hell, you can sit in back and just shell people with havoc launchers.
That's a fair point. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Getting
drive
some
up
more
whenever you're ready.
multi-meltas is just choice.
Yeah, multi-meltas are what? 20 points per rhino?
I think it's
20
35. Is it just 20 points?
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah,
I think it's 20.
A 55-point Melta tank just rolling up. Hey, nice nice Kratos. Blah.
So it'd be 60 points for a pintle mounted multi-melta land or rhino.
Yeah, there you go.
Delightful.
And you can
It
However,
still has the
one-
repair special rule too, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
I don't think
that is
the-
a rule that exists.
they don't have firing ports anymore, do they?
No,
No.
they
No.
don't.
also
Okay.
the pencil mounted multi melta is 30 points.
Yeah. So 65 for all
65. Yep.
65 for a really shitty ball predator.
You can put searchlights on that bad boy for 5 points if you really want to.
You
It's
could put
not
hunter
shitty
killers
for
on it.
militia.
But think
Yeah.
about it. So you've got even just the base rhino, and you shove like the twin linked bolter on it just for the lulls. Or actually, you spend. I take it back. You're going to have it at 45 points because you want the searchlight and the twin link bolter, and have it go light up things in night fight for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Have it
Yeah.
go light up things in night fight for you. Then have it just running around tank shocking whenever the guys get out. And you're fishing for penetrating hits at that point because you want the damn thing to explode with strength 8 nastiness right next to the enemy.
Yeah. You have a bomb with a multi-melta attached.
Right?
Yeah. Or you can if you know that you're going to explode anyway, just take the combi melta for the same strength hit. Just
For 10 points,
short
and you're only going to do it
range.
once anyway.
Uh-huh.
It's a good
True.
chance.
But that's not all,
Yeah.
folks. That's not all.
Oh
This
yeah,
bracket's
we got to
weird.
talk about the possibly more important second half of Survivors,
This is the way.
Void Jumpers. So all models in the Imperialis Militia Reconnaissance Squad may be upgraded to have militia jetpacks and replace all weapons with 2 las pistols or 2 auto pistols, your choice, at the cost of 20 points per unit. Any Discipline Masters, Militia Medicae, or other models assigned to the unit before deployment, but not independent characters. Fuck those guys. May be given jetpacks.
They have a
for
sense
no
of safety.
additional cost.
Yeah.
They do. A model with a militia jetpack cannot be given any weapon with the heavy type. Who cares? Void Jumpers.
Yeah. Love it.
So the militia jetpack actually functions more like a jump pack than a jetpack. Because jetpack, I think more of the mechanicum. However,
Yeah.
this is like a tiny jump pack just for humans. It sets your movement characteristic for 12 for the duration of the turn. You get all the bonuses that entails. You can still run. It's really good times. These may not be the most effective thing in the world, but they're definitely going to be one of the most fun things on the table.
Hilariously, you can't use it to deep strike out of the void.
Yeah. Who would?
However, so in a game I played with Steven, I had five of these guys, just a 5-man recon squad with twin auto pistols, and they came out of an Arvis. So
Beautiful.
they kind of got the jump pack experience. But 5 dudes with twin auto pistols is a shit ton of fire. Not good fire.
You
But
killed a
it's
Marine
there.
or two.
They
I
showed
killed a
up.
couple Marines. Stand by. I'll find the stat for it real quick here. So the auto pistol, 9 inches, strength 3, pistol 2. So each of these guys is getting 4 shots. So if you take 10 guys with this and they you shove them in an Arvis or they get ignored a little bit. Suddenly you have 40 strength 3 just dumping into somebody as they run around 12 inches, just being a problem.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And for those of you wondering, why the hell did GW do this? The answer goes back to Epic, like all good things. Because Epic had little assault guardsmen with a huge jetpack and 2 pistols just standing there waiting.
Really?
Yeah. And I there might have also been a Rogue Trader model. I don't recall.
I
But
thought
there
there
definitely
was.
was.
But I've got a whole company of those jump pack guardsmen for Epic with their 2 pistols just waiting to be annoying, and it makes me so happy.
Mhm.
One of the things I'm thinking about is getting some Ungor and sticking some of these spare gargoyle wings I have on them, and yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to get I've been thinking about getting some of those new Eshin Deathmasters and just giving them pistols, and all they do is jump. They just
Beautiful.
leap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful Rite of War or Providence. Sorry, because that gives you fun even if you don't take all the transports.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's good.
Dibs on the next one.
Go for
Fire away.
Go for it. You already found the most whack thing here.
Armory of Old Knight. All eligible models in the detachment with this Provenance may upgrade las guns to las rifles for no additional cost. This is honestly not my jam because a 30-inch range is cool and all, but they're heavy and
Your ballistic skill 3.
your ballistic skill 3, but also you don't have the fancy stuff so where you can still move and shoot as Solar Auxilia do.
Unless you take Cyborg medics, in which case you're actually faster than Solar Oxys.
True. So it's an extremely valid choice. Definitely cool. Definitely on brand for Skitarii. Yeah. Those galvanic rifles. That's just perfect for them.
Pretty
But
dope.
where it gets spicy, relic
spicy.
relic arms. Eligible models in Imperialis Militia Grenadier squads and command cadres may upgrade las guns to either Volkite chargers or assault needlers. May upgrade las pistols to either Volkite Serpenta or needle pistols. May upgrade sniper rifles to needle Volnus and heavy stubbers to Volkite Culverin or needle cannon at a cost of 30 points per unit, regardless of the number of models or type of weapons upgraded in a given unit.
So let's pause here for a second because I have the rules for needle weapons, my friends.
Lay him down.
I do too.
So that assault needler. Oh, go ahead. You came prepared. I see.
I did. So the assault needler, if there's a weapon in this entire list that's just truly badass, it's this.
Put the fear of God back into Astartes.
Yep.
Range 18, strength 2. Not that scary. Assault 3, poison 3 up, pinning. In Michael and I's game last week, I killed the majority of 2 dreadnoughts with assault needlers.
Be still my heart.
Beautiful.
They are just, a grenadier squad that's 60 shots,
Oof.
just yeeting guys off the table. It's really beautiful. And the Volkite Caliber is still, the Volkite Charger is still a fantastic choice. Really, there's, it's whichever you want, but it's either or, but they're both good.
No wrong answers. Also, that needle Volnus.
It's really cool. So it's heavy 2, poison 2 up, breaching, pinning sniper. So it's a
48-inch range.
Oof.
Oh yeah, 48-inch range. So it's a sniper rifle for militia guys.
Pretty sure that's what Shuriken shot Fulgrim in the face with.
Yeah, every single one of those militiamen.
And if that's
are
not
like,
a
"Damn,
reason
this
not to take
this
it."
angel book is awesome. I'm gonna do that.
I want to be him when I grow up,
Yeah.
except less emo.
So the needle cannon is also a solid choice. It's 24-inch range, heavy 4, poison 3 up, and pinning. So bottom line, you're pouring wounds onto people, and then they have to take a pinning check at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's just really, really, really good.
Yeah, and this is an there's also heirlooms of past glory.
Yes. So Let me scroll back up. A force commander in this detachment with this Providence may exchange a power weapon for a Paragon blade for 10 points and or a las pistol for an Archaeotech pistol for a further 10 points. That is a must because it's cool.
It's funny.
Yeah,
You'll only
yeah.
use that blast pistol or that pistol once, but my God.
It's there's one there's one part in Vengeful Spirit, that really good novel where some Sons of Horus is burst through a militia bunker and is like daring the commander to shoot him with the pistol, and she does, and it just punches right through his armor and like knocks out one of his hearts. That's what this is.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's you get one nice thing, and maybe you'll do one thing with it if you're lucky.
Hey,
May the odds
if
be
that's
ever in
it's
your
just a
favor.
matter of time until some force commander with a fancy revolver takes the last wound off of someone really, really important.
Yep.
Yep.
And then everyone's going to remember it for the
Sigismund,
rest of forever.
Fulgrim. And that's why you play militia, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to win, but to do that.
Yeah, to do funny things.
The insulting. Michael, I keep going back to our game last week.
Yeah.
I killed a single Huskarl with sentinels in melee.
And we'll never forget.
And yeah, oh no.
And will never let me forget either.
Yeah. Yes, we're all aware that you killed a very expensive model with combat walkers.
And yeah,
We'll
did
be
they-
hearing about it for the rest
Did
of
they
our
get
lives.
swept off the board afterwards? Yeah, they did.
Not the point. Not
No,
the point
not
at
the
all.
point at all. They died. The artillery died. There's a lot of things dead.
They got swept so hard, they got swept by Cataphracti.
Yeah.
Oops.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It too.
They were at the back of the board and there was nowhere to run, and then they
Yeah.
ran, and then they were gone. And
They were gone anyway.
Speaking
I
of
really
things,
like this Providence. This
fun
is
times,
going
fun
to.
times.
This is going to be. I think people are going to be drawn to that pinning. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's not that it's a trap, but I don't think it's near as superior to some of the other provinces as it looks like at first glance.
Mhm.
Because
I mean, unless you're taking
you're only BS3,
Legacy, yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you're taking Legacy, and then if you're taking Legacy and this, that's all the tricks. That's all your tricks. You've
Yeah.
spent all
Which
your
It's
tricks.
all in the Grenadiers.
Yep,
That's-
and it's another
That's
30 points.
my militia army is
Yep.
the Grenadiers.
Yep.
Everything else is kind of mayonnaise on the sandwich, but
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
like
saying-
30 points is almost 50% more expensive, the base squad, which
Yep.
I mean, worth it, right? Like it's good.
Yeah.
totally worth it. And it's nice that you can just take all the upgrades.
Yep.
You don't have to do a bunch of math. Just
Yep. Just do it. Want everything.
What it means on the receiving side is pretty much every time you get shot, you're taking a morale check or a pinning check, rather. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And then you start slipping needlers into your discipline masters, so everybody has one. Great stuff.
yeah.
Check your Halloween.
Oh, there's a needler in it.
There's a radium carbine.
Yeah, that's why you don't get out of your. That's why you don't get out of the car. You just stay in the car and blast expensive grenadiers off the table with heavy
Yeah.
bolters.
Yeah.
I like too how second edition makes the heavy weapons in the squad a lot more viable and useful. In first edition, having a heavy weapon, say like the needle cannon or the needle bolus, in a squad that needs to be 8 inches away, or 18 inches away for the assault needlers, would be kind of working at cross purposes. But now that they are stationary, if they are returning fire or overwatching, say,
Mhm.
that needle bonus or the extra couple shots from the needle cannons are great, and they're not that expensive.
Yep.
Mhm.
This next one is Feral Warriors. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just from a tide of dirty warriors perspective. So all eligible units and models gain a bonus of +1 to their weapon skill for the duration of any player turn in which they make a successful charge. However, an eligible unit that begins the controlling player's assault phase within 12 inches of one or more enemies must have a charge declared for it, though the controlling player may choose the target of this charge. Right off the bat, that's going to give you an increase up to 50% survivability in combat with Space Marines, which militia badly need. If regular weapon skill 3 or God forbid weapon skill 2 dudes get into combat with Space Marines, like regular tactical Marines with chainswords, bye guys. So that's helpful. It really reduces the number of saves that you're going to have to get ready to make. But really, the cream here is that you can take chain axes.
Wait. We didn't discuss something.
What?
Ogrins.
Oh, yeah.
Ogrins. When they
Weapon skill
charge
6 Ogrins?
5.
5? Oh, they're
5.
4 base.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, still
Yeah.
5.
But
Five is
when they
great.
charge basic Marines, they're getting hit on 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, now this
suddenly
bear-
the shoe's
this-
on the other foot.
Yeah, this bears
It-
in noting that it only works when you charge. If they
Yes.
charge you, you suddenly forget how to fight.
Yes. All that momentum you built up, no, it's gone.
So any model eligible to benefit from this province may upgrade a basic close combat weapon to a chain axe for 2 points, or upgrade a chain sword to a chain axe for 1 point, which is cheap as chips.
Because literally any model down to levy can have a basic close combat weapon.
Yeah, may as well be free.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Granted, you are looking at a 40-point upgrade for the whole squad, but when
Worth
it comes
it.
to militia,
They're only
that's
60 points to begin with.
that's almost
Yeah.
a rounding error.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have the points to spare.
Yeah.
And
And,
this will, with Shred, this will help you so damn much.
Yeah, push through a lot of wounds. So not only shred, but also the weapon skill.
The strength
Increase
bonus from the
is-
axe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
It
make
levels
some
the playing field.
Make some cool chain pole axes for your kinfolk levy and just ride around on horses, renderizing people.
And like you said, Ogren are getting the weapon skill bonus. They also come stock with, you guessed it, a basic close combat weapon.
Da-da-da,
Yes,
they do.
Ayo.
Da-da-da. Yeah. Cavalry also have Hammer of Wrath, and with chain axes, that pushes them up to a Strength 4 Hammer of Wrath, which is just hilarious.
Nice.
I have Strength? No, because they're not.
Yeah, they do have a basic close combat weapon. The real question is...
Yeah, actually, I don't
nope,
think
all
it-
models just get a lance, so you don't have to get rid of the combat weapon to get the lance.
Yeah. Point of information, I guess. When you make a Hammer of Wrath hit, you just inflict a hit at your base strength. Since you're not using a weapon, you're actually still getting that
Yeah.
impact hit at strength 3. Womp. But still, chain weapons for everybody.
It's good times.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Somebody was chanting squats earlier.
Yeah.
Kinfolk Helots.
Take us through it.
All eligible units and models receive an increase of +1 to their toughness characteristic, but also lower their initiative and movement characteristics by 1. All of your characters gain Battlesmith 6 up, and all of your independent characters gain Battlesmith 5 up. And you cannot combine this with Ogre and conscripts. So very simply, you can do squats.
Use squats now. Yeah.
Squats
However-
forever, and you got to call them squats. None of this Leagues of Votan
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
Yeah.
30K, they're still
We do
being
not
called
speak
by the
of them.
30K. They're still being called by the slur. It's the Imperium of Mankind. I'm sorry.
However, I will say that other than calling them kinfolk, there isn't actually anything in the fluff there that makes me think that these are definitely squats. I could see
But
these
we
also
know.
being useful for mutants.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Lizard
wanna do, yeah, lizard men, sure.
Like Lizard Man.
Sorry.
Anything that's just not quite human.
Yeah, anything that's-
Beastmen,
Yeah.
Robots.
Poxwalkers.
Oh, yeah. Poxwalkers would be
Mhm.
neat.
Oh yeah, I forgot those
Yeah,
guys.
anything
exist.
that's a little tougher and a little slower. And I love that. Like none of the provinces, even the Ogren unit entry says yeah, these are usually Ogren, but they can be other weird shit too. You don't fucking know. Use
Yeah,
whatever you want.
Go nuts.
That's what militia are all about.
Speaking of which,
Guys.
I do want to point out that while you can't take the Ogren conscripts province, you can take Ogrens, which, from what I can tell, they
could
would
just
then
take-
get the +1 toughness.
You could just
They
take
would,
40
yes.
Ogren. No
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
It's like they may not be line, and sadly, you may not be able to put a force commander or discipline master in there, but you do get that +1 toughness.
And the Ogren sergeant gets Battlesmith 6 up.
He does indeed.
Oh, Doug do technical knock.
Yeah. Doug with percussive
What do you think the
maintenance.
Thunderhammer's for?
Really, he's just anytime somebody puts a hit on a rhino, Doug from the inside just punches the dent back out while screaming "Battlesmith 6 up."
Doug Fix.
Yeah.
Like the Emperor intended.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, well, how about we talk about the flip side of mutants with abhuman muster? So these are fun. All eligible units and models get +1 to their strength characteristic, but lower their ballistic skill by -1 to a minimum of 1. And if you don't already possess a variant of bulky, you gain bulky 2. All models in the detachment with this provenance and a character subtype gain Hammer of Wrath 1, or if they're independent character special rule, or the monstrous unit subtype, gain Hammer of Wrath 2 instead. Which is a little odd because Ogren already have Hammer of Wrath 2.
Well, now they have Hammer of Wrath with horns.
Better Hammer of Wrath.
But sadly, this cannot be chosen in conjunction with Ogren conscripts. However, it can be chosen in conjunction with Kinfolk Helots.
Yeah.
So you want that
Big,
+1
beefy
strength,
boys.
+1
Strength.
toughness.
Strength 6, toughness 6, just fixing your rhinos. Well, not your rhinos because you don't get those, but fixing your cargo 8s.
Keeping everything in working order.
Literally holding the drive shaft together with their bare hands. Ballad of a spaceman style.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is a fun one. That Hammer of Wrath can be just disrespectful sometimes.
It's pretty dope. And anything that doesn't require you to roll to hit from militia is just a godsend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like this, crack grenades. It's a short list, but it's a nice list.
You know, it's interesting that even though they gain bulky, they still stay on 25mm bases.
Yep.
They're mortal.
Actually, I don't think they ever specify what size base any of this stuff is on.
Presumably 25?
So use your imagination, kids.
Yeah, or put them up on 32s. Live your life. I'm not your dad.
I'm a big fan of just put them on whatever they came with, unless you're using real old Empire stuff, and then maybe get rid of the square bases.
Nah, you'll need those later when Old World comes out.
Damn straight.
Dual use models.
Yeah.
But continuing to fall down kind of the stair of evolution, because that's what's happened. We've gone from Pharaoh warriors, people, just a little crazy, Kinfolk Helots, people, ? Abhumans, nope, not people. And then
Right there in the name.
debased rabble, very specifically driven to lunacy by exposure to the warp-inflected influences of forbidden rites and hellish lore. It may only be selected by an army with the traitor allegiance. Note that you can have loyalist everything else thus far talked about. All eligible units and models with this providence gain the Crusader and Hatred everything special rules. However, they must always declare a charge targeting an enemy if they're able. Grenadier squads may not be taken in a detachment which uses this providence, and this providence may not be used in conjunction with the survivors of a Dark Age providence. But Crusader and Hatred everything?
This is
It's
what the
wonderful.
Cult Horde. This is better Cult Horde because you're not limited to taking levy squads as compulsory.
Yep.
Yes.
This is great.
Yeah, it gets rid of your Grenadiers, but you couldn't do that in the old version anyway.
Who needed them to begin with if you're bringing this?
You know,
Yeah.
Right?
my only problem with this, my only complaint, I should say, is that it's traitor locked. When we see in Siege of Terra that Keeler whips up 100 strong mobs of just dudes with skulls on sticks.
That would be so
That's a really
damn
good
cool.
point.
But I think what this is, so they gave us 16 provinces, and they're beautiful, each in their own way. But also, it's Militia 1.0. And I firmly believe that, not next month, maybe not until like next year, whatever, but I firmly believe we're going to see more providence. I know I was saying that for forever when the Black Book came out. But now that they've gone to like, hey, this is militia, the rules are in a PDF, they're cool. All it takes, friggin' every Imperial Guard release, right? Or hey, we've done old world Empire stuff in plastics. Hey, you know what? Hey, it'd be really cool if we threw some providences in that reflected those guys. And if they come out with a plastic box set for Empire Flagellants,
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
you can't tell me that somebody at Games Workshop isn't going to scratch their head and go, Hey, you know that part in Siege of Terra where Euphrates Keeler has that army of just like holy rabble? Let's do like a province for that and like 2 other ones, and let's throw it out as an exemplary battle.
Yeah, that'd be
And
cool.
bam, there it is. And it's just a PDF. It's no effort on their part. It makes me want to buy flagellants. And I'm thinking of a Bretonian army, but I'd buy some flagellants for that. I'd make militia army number, God, probably 9 at that point, but I'd do it again.
Has anyone ever told you that you might have too many militia armies?
Stephen, people have told me that,
Lies.
but they are liars and not to be believed or trusted.
As long as we're all aware.
It ain't gentlemanly, Stephen, to talk about a man's militia armies like that.
Well, no, they're militia, not gentlemen.
For side note, Crusader means that they roll extra dice when making sweeping advance, discard the lowest before determining the result. So that's not terrible if you're actually going to win combat.
I actually think that's kind of critical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Militia have a little bit lower initiative than most of the things that they ostensibly could win combat against.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're so fragile, when you do kind of stack everything right and the dice fall in your favor and you do win a combat, it's only going to be by a couple. And there's just going to be survivors. And if you have to then go fight them again, you're going to take massive losses again. So being able to kind of reliably might be too strong a word, but have a better chance of just sweeping them and fixing that whole problem right there, fully about.
Man, you know what I really want to see this with is Ogren conscripts and just like hordes of mutated Ogren.
Christ.
Or in Doug's case, just Ogren who are super into the Emperor.
They've just been pointed in the wrong direction, and that's why they have the traitor allegiance.
Yeah.
They got a little turn. Somebody told them, anybody in front of you, you kill.
Yep.
And they took 2 left turns, and now here we are.
Yep. Maybe the Mercury Wall would have held just a little bit longer if those Ogren weren't so directionally challenged.
What I really like about this Provenance is that it combos so well with so many of the others. Like Feral and Debased Rabble just turns your basic Goover infantry into super consistent melee performers.
Yeah, reroll a hit, reroll a wound. Go for it.
This is my jam. This is my traitor militia. This is what their provinces are going to be, is Feral and Debased. Because,
who needs
it's amazing.
Yeah. I think, too, it's valuable because, one, with Hatred Everything, it's still just the first round of combat, but you don't have to charge. And statistically speaking, a rerolled 5 is more accurate than a 4 to hit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it helps you put those hits where they need to be, which is so rare for militia.
Yeah. Firm agree. And just like you said, only first round of combat, but your militia, either you win that combat and everything's fine, or everyone is dead. Round 2 shouldn't enter your mind.
That's not a thing we do here.
Yeah.
We're not here for the round 2.
Yep. And there it is, all the way at the bottom of the proverbial ladder. Tainted Flesh.
Exciting.
Someone want to take that one?
I mean, Steve, you're right there.
Okay, all right, I'm doing it. This province is also traitor locked. All eligible units and models receive Fear and Furious Charge 1. However, your compulsory troops must be filled with levy squads and may not have more infantry, accepting HQ choices of other types, than it has levy squads in total. For example, if you have 3 levy squads, you can have a maximum of 3 additional infantry squads of other kinds, so either militia or grenadiers or what have you. The only HQ choices the detachment can take are the Force Commander and the Rogue Psyker, which we didn't talk about the Rogue Psyker, but he's basically a terrible esoterist. His only job is to throw darts and summon demons. This province cannot be taken in conjunction with the Survivors of the Dark Age Gene-crafted Oaken Conscripts or Alchem Jackers provinces.
He read the Sparks notes of
right. The what it
Legion
can't be
librarians.
The what it can't be taken with read like a medical commercial, Stephen.
Right. He skimmed Spark Notes Legion Librarian and was like, I can do this.
He watched a TikTok on summoning demons.
He's doing a TikTok dance to summon demons.
And then the warp just stole his information, and now here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
maybe worked. Maybe he's gonna blow up everybody around him.
Yeah. So this, I believe, Tainted
There's
Flesh
plenty of
in
bodies.
first edition gave you rending and
Mhm.
fear. No
Mhm.
more massed AP2 for militia.
No, that was Tainted Flesh was fear and feel no pain.
I believe you. Either way, the old wombo combo of Tainted Flesh and Zealot, or Cult Zealots, or whatever they were called, Cult Horde, no longer exists. You can no longer lock fearless blobs of rending infantry in with Terminators and actually come out on top.
No, and I
Tainted
do.
Flesh is, once again, as Austin said, get it done in round 1, don't worry about round 2.
Yeah, and you will have to get it done because, like those fire support squads, infantry, Ogren, infantry, the artillery units, infantry. Like, there's a lot of things with the infantry rule, like those beastmen we talked about, militia beastmasters, infantry. So you're going to need a lot of levy to bring your other fun tricks. God,
Yeah.
I forgot the sentinels,
And the problem here being is that
infantry.
is that if you're doing so, if you're
But
taking
they're
Tainted
not affected
Flesh,
by provenances.
But
if
presumably
you're
you
Tainted Flesh, you gotta load up on levies who are terrible at just about everything.
But they're cheap.
The only thing they're good at is not breaking the bank and dying. And the fact that they just disappear as soon as they fail a leadership check is rough. So Tainted Flesh, you could say, definitely not as good as it used to be. I'm tempted to say it's one of the weaker ones now.
I disagree because all eligible models having Fear 1 in a game where the leadership has been reduced across the board, that feels like a big deal to me. Like if you take a Levy squad, great. Then you take an Ogren squad that has Fear 1 and Furious Charge.
That's real mean.
That's disrespectful, Stephen. It's disrespectful. Like all of your cavalry, right?
Oh, that's
Fear,
true.
Furious
Scary
Charge.
horses.
Like,
And there's
just
a whole lot of pinning in militia as well.
Mhm.
Huh. What
And
is-
you can give them.
It does not say that you can't take it with Armory of Old Knight.
I was about to say, I think you can still take Grenadiers and have a bunch of pinning in there too.
You could.
that's-
I mean, it would be like 4 units of Levy, 2 a Grenadier, a couple of Ogren. Your heavy weapons will have to come from tanks at that point, but God.
I mean, keep in mind you can fit 3 units of levy in each troop's choice.
Oh, true. So
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
you can fill out with some other fun stuff. Yeah, you're right.
That's-
I forgot
that's
about that
hilarious.
entirely. And I
That's-
don't
and
know
they're
a lot of
40
models.
points.
Build, but hey, it's militia.
Yeah.
It is
It's
a
gonna
lot
be
of models to build.
anyways.
Yeah, you have a lot no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Uh,
really want
we know what we're about.
Yeah, if you want to get weird and esoteric, just make every single Levy model an ominous black cube. They just push them across the board.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. I don't think anybody's going to want to take this from you.
But, are we on the Ogren?
We
Yes.
All right. Folks, it's that time. This is the pinnacle of the episode. Ogren are here to stay, and they are just, boy howdy, are they terrific. So we talked about Ogren last time. They're great across the board. Their weapon skill 4, which is just as good as your force commander. Their strength and toughness 5, 3 wounds. They're better than custodians off the board, especially considering, hilariously, they can actually get a 5 up and vulnerable, where custodian sentinels cannot. It's good days. Real good days for Ogren. So, the Ogren conscript, like, if you want Ogren, and, like, your deal for coming to militia is Ogren, you're going to want to start with Ogren conscripts. So, there are a few things that we've talked about, like Tainted Flesh, Abhuman, Muster, Kinfolk Helots, that preclude it. But even if you don't have Ogren conscripts, you still got 4 elite slots. Anywho, so let's talk about this. 2 big things. First off, your Militia Ogren Brute squads can be taken as troops, just like Pride of the Legion. Any that you take as compulsory troops now has line.
Ogren Pride of the Legion.
Ogren Pride of the Legion.
Ogren pride.
Ogren have a lot to have pride in. It's terrific. I stand in solidarity with Ogren. So not only are they line, the other big part, discipline masters, militia medicae, and force commanders selected as part of this detachment ignore the usual unit restrictions for joining a unit with the monstrous unit subtype. They can join any and all Ogren squads you have, which I would like to point out, you may select as troops, but if you wanted to, you could also still select them as elite choices.
Yep. 100 Ogren.
That's a lot of Ogren. And speaking of standing in solidarity with them, it is International Workers' Day, so I expect one Ogren to be modeled as Pete Seeker.
Beautiful.
There's one for your Google afterwards.
Yep.
Right. What are we, an episode of Archer?
Just 1,700 Ogren marching across the field, all singing in a different key. Which side are you on? It'd be great.
All right, so here's the thing about
that's a deep
Ogren
pool
concepts.
To be fair, 100 Ogren are 3,100 points before upgrades. So we're clear. But for 3,500 points, you could have 100 Ogren with discipline masters and medics and a force commander and fixins and just be disrespectful.
Like Thunderhammers.
Yes.
That's, not an unheard of thing for certain players in our community.
Yeah.
Being disrespectful, we know, Jared.
At that point level.
I'm just pointing out that some people like big games.
If you're worried about anti-tank, not anymore. Ogren are strength 10 with Thunderhammers. It's very little this squad can't do.
Walk over and
5
say
attacks
hello.
on the boss.
5 attacks on that boss, and let me tell you, absolute best thing that I love so much, that they share with Eidolon, a couple of Emperor's
Stunning
children.
good looks.
Absolutely.
Screaming.
Masterful fashion sense.
Incredible hair.
You're a monstrous unit type. You ignore unwieldy, and you swing those Thunderhammers at initiative 2, which means you go before Terminators, Force Commanders, whatever else that's going to want to also bonk you with a Thunderhammer.
God bless.
To continue worker analogies, you're the John Henry of Ogren.
Yep.
You are indeed.
And I will
beating
say,
steam drills down left and right.
anybody who brings to the Big Blam at Nova this or any year just 3,000 points of pure Ogren conscript delight. Because remember, everything Jason has said is one Providence. You can
Single
make them
Providence.
feral warriors.
And
you
I
can
did.
give them the armory of old knight. Well, don't do that because then you have to take things that aren't Ogren.
And that's bullshit.
That's garbage. You can make them. Can you make them gene crafted?
Yes.
Yup.
So you want to make them fleet too, ladies and gentlemen?
Those long legs have got to be good for something.
Oh my
God.
We want to see a bunch of Ogren just pinned on the first turn from eating bad fish.
It's dark out here.
I like
We ate bad fish.
Elite, just incredibly tough Ogren. Just they don't care about anything.
It just
Beautiful. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with Ogren conscripts, and there are very, very few other provenances that lock them out of it. I think it's just Tainted Flesh, Abhuman, and Kinfolk Helots.
technically Clanfolk Levy too.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Because I think no, Mayfield with compulsory. So you could just have horses and Ogren.
Horses
And Ogren.
Every day, all day.
Yep.
Just a world where Ogren rule, but people like to talk to them face to face, so they ride on horses.
Yeah.
And there's an entire army theme right off the top of Austin's hat.
Yep.
We're
the next
there.
one also
We're there for
can
you.
be taken with Ogren conscripts.
Yes. Somebody get this next one. It's a delight.
Industrial Stronghold.
Oh, it's so good.
Actually, let me tee this one up for a little bit, because you remember the Lehman Russ, and it's a Lehman Russ, and
It is.
Third tier. And
Entire segments of Black Library novels have been devoted to how much the Lehman Russ sucks.
Yes.
Mm.
It's a death trap.
And you can only take one in a heavy support choice.
It's a
And
good one.
I know some of you longstanding guard players out there went, but Austin, I have more than 3 Lehman Russ.
Of course you do.
Oh,
Talking to
yeah,
you,
you
Ethan.
do, buddy. This one's for Ethan. Take it away.
A detachment with this provenance may include up to 2 additional heavy support choices, but these must be filled with militia Lehman Russ units. In addition, all Imperialis Militia Lehman Russ units selected for a detachment with this provenance gain the following options. An Imperialis Militia Lehman Russ unit may include up to 5 additional Lehman Russes, 120 points each. It cannot be taken in conjunction with Unending Horde, Based Rabble, Tainted Flesh, or Ogrins. So that's
That's a lot of tanks.
30.
30.
Yeah, that's
30
30.
Russes. 30 Russes.
And none of them give a VP.
So for those of you when the original Apocalypse came out that bought 3 boxes of Lehman Russ tank companies, now is your time.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that's
it's just so
Stalingrad.
much.
T-34 is rolling off the line and directly into battle.
yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to
Just-
go wrong.
Spray paint these like silver and streaking grime, and that's it.
Go forth.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And just,
I do have
And the
one
best thing
complaint-
is-
I do have
Go
one
ahead,
complaint
go
with
ahead.
this.
Yeah.
You still have to have troops. You can't just do all tanks.
Yeah.
oops, all tanks.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You can't
So-
do it.
But you can take Survivors of a Dark Age and just take min-sized Grenadier units inside of Land Raiders.
Oh, okay.
And it's just
I'm back
Land
on board.
Raiders and Lehman Russes all the way down.
Like the Lord intended. Just
Okay.
just like Ark and Land dreamed of.
Yep.
Did he?
Oh man, you want a little more AV-14 and you're out of your 5 heavy support choices? Boy, do I have an answer for that.
Yeah. My only problem with Industrial Stronghold is that out of all of these, it seems like the most meme. Like it looks like a meme. You look at it and you're like, wow, 30 Russes, that's a great idea.
So there are a couple of considerations, because I won't call it a downside, because 30 Lehman Russes.
Right.
And I think the most important one, even though they're scoring the enemy no victory points, you bring 30 Lehman Russes, if they kill all of them, congratulations, boss, you have 0 VP.
Yep.
But that glancing hit counting as a penetrating does mean that if you're hit with some high strength weapons, like the mythical 10-man las cannon squad, it could theoretically go through all 6 of your Russes at once.
Whoops.
Because that's a lot of penetrating hits, and
Hey man,
You
Sun
could have a
Killers
bad
know their
time.
game.
right.
So- Legitimate question here, real quick. It says, an Imperial Lehman Russ unit may include up to 5 additional units. Would they count as a squadron?
Yes, because the
Yes.
unit may include. So there are also 5 big squadrons of 6 tanks, not
Mhm.
30 tanks running around being absolutely disrespectful, just
Sadly.
moderately disrespectful.
Uh.
But
Yeah.
it also says, just rules as written, right? You get your Lehman Russ, and then you can upgrade all of these Lehman Russes as well to any of the various Russes available.
Vanquishers.
Nor do you have
Vanquishers.
to have them all the same, even in the same squadron.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why you'd mix and match, although presumably having like a Demolisher, like a mix of autocannon and las cannon might be fun. Yeah, I can see it, but I'm not entirely sure why you do it beyond
Also
it's
bear
just
in mind
funny.
it's big blocks of BS3 Russes.
Mm-hmm. But that BS3 Russ with autocannon and multi-laser
It's not
is
bad.
a lot of medium strength hitting. Or, hey, we're going to give it the Vanquisher cannon and a whole mounted las cannon.
Hell, concept, don't even give it guns, just tank shock everything.
Yeah, hell, no gun is just a battle cannon and a heavy bolter.
Yeah.
That's
hey.
not a bad day.
Go
Yeah,
return
yeah.
fire with that 6 heavy bolters you got, boss.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, can you give these pintle mounts? You can, right?
Good question.
Yeah, you can give it a pintle mounted multi-laser. Shit, you can give it a whole multi-laser, a pintle multi-laser, and the autocannons. It's 130 points to do that, and just beat at Marines with a bunch of high strength, like wound on 2s type shooting. and just overwatch them with 2 multi-lasers. I think a multi-laser is low enough strength.
Strength 6.
6.
Yeah. Oh, hey, your las cannon team went to shoot at me and I've advanced a turn? Well, suck a million multi-laser shots back and we'll see how many of you will actually live to shoot turn 2.
Yep.
I love it.
I have 2 more thoughts on this before we move on.
Oh yeah, fire away.
First of all, I feel like this does a really good job of representing the Talarn resistance fighters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good
The
call.
ones who were pulling out the shitty old vehicles, wrapping them in bubble wrap and taking them out into the wastes.
Boy,
This
were
is
they
fine.
shitty.
Yeah. And if they got scratched, everyone inside died.
Yep.
Thus, everything is a penetrating hit.
Yep.
Yep. War
Um,
in the year of COVID.
And I will also... right. I will also say that if you don't want to run this as a meme, you don't have to. The minimum number of Russes you can take with this is 2. And at that point, you still have 3 heavy spore slots.
Ooh,
I don't know
It's a
why
way to-
you would
it
do
is a
that.
way to fit
interesting.
Russes after you've loaded up on Artie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You've thrown some Artie in there, some of the other heavies, or actually, hell, you take 3 Gorgon, right?
Yeah.
And then this still gets you a couple of Lehman Russes. That's not something I thought about. That's delightful.
Yeah.
It's not what I
That-
would do, but it is something that's there. I'd probably
And
run
that
like
gives you
6
fully
Lehman Russes.
mechanized
Yeah.
with, a decent amount of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Delightful.
All right. Last one. Who wants it?
All right, let's talk about Unending Horde.
Let's talk about it forever.
Hmm.
So
4 up.
this, I think, is kind of like a new vibe, because it's pretty great. So, all right, a detachment with this province grants the Endless Horde 4+ special rule to all models in the Imperialis Militia infantry squads and levy squads, but all Imperialis Militia grenadier squads can only be selected as elites. So, small downside, however. What this means is when your last model is removed as a casualty, you roll a d6. On a 4+ in this case, you get that entire unit back, just without attached models. So, like, no Discipline Master, no Medicae, what have you. You just get a brand new squad right back when it returns to reserves.
Well, so
Small
here's the
downside?
trick there, though. Well, you might be about to say it.
Well, small downside, you do score victory points as normal for having that squad eliminated. However, take it away, Steve.
You have to get off the table first.
Good point.
Yeah, if you die in no man's land, you have to run for 2 turns at least to get
Mhm.
back to the table edge.
This
Yeah,
is
if you break
made.
it less than 50.
This is made for levies
For sure.
because the levies, the second they fail a morale check, they're just removed from play.
Oh yeah, they're just like clan rats. They just
Yeah.
explode and disappear.
Yeah,
They
they're
just
just gone.
Get by
So
guys.
yeah, your militia infantry do get this Endless Horde ability, but like Steven said, if it's turn like 2 or 3 and they've moved up the table and then they've broken, 8 of them just have to keep running and they're never going to rally, and it's just going to be another 3 turns. They're never going to get that 4 up ability.
Yeah, and your opponent
Right.
knows not to shoot them lest they respawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty handy. Like you said, it's kind of for levy, but also a little bit it's pretty useful in the fact that you can bring levy are not scoring; they're not line,
Mhm.
but you can bring normal militia squads back on. Take those backfield objectives. It gives you a little bit more security later in the game because you might not be able to run them all the way across the board to affect like active stuff anymore, but you can definitely get them on a scoring you can get them in position to score like in your last couple of turns.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
these are the things that are
necessarily say-
holding your objectives, right? Is what
Yeah.
you want those infantry squads for. And then, oh no, the objective 6 inches from my board edge. You just murdered my militia and they've run away. 50% chance they come back.
And
Right
I
to that
wouldn't
same
even
spot.
say that depending on your provinces, you aren't necessarily relegated to holding backfield objectives because with Armories of Old Night, you've got a 30-inch gun, respawn, stand on the table edge, and hit dudes in no man's land.
True.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a fun fact here, Jason pointed out that this is a, quote, new vibe. This is actually just Commander Chenkov's send in the next wave rule
Yeah, it is.
from like
Yeah, it
3rd
is,
edition.
and we're here for it. Absolutely, eternally here for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that
old Chenkov.
that is that callback, right?
Yeah. Yep. So fun times there. And I think
Beautiful.
you're almost guaranteed to get at least one squad back in a full 3-squad slot.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, that's pretty cool. You can't use it with your Russ province, though. So,
That's fine.
sorry, guys. No infinite tanks and infinite infantries. Yep.
All right.
Michael sheds one solitary tear.
Goblin's Hut is a distributor for the Dirty Down Effects paint line and other hobby products in North America. Dirty Down liquid effects and aging sprays have been used by prop masters in TV and film for over 30 years to create incredibly realistic looking effects in a fast, reliable way. They can be spotted in some of your favorite media such as Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Alien, just to name a few. That precision has now been brought to the miniature realm and they are taking the hobby by storm. In the Dirty Down paint line, you'll find rust, moss, and verdigris effects unlike anything else on the market. With a good shake of the bottle, a single wash creates the combined effects of multiple other paints and even provides subtle texture. Dirty Down's entire line is water soluble, so you can achieve a wide variety of effects while allowing you to rework, remove, or layer to your heart's content to achieve the perfect weathered look. With this capability, the line is perfect for speed painting while also having the depth of use for competition pieces. If you would like to buy Dirty Down at a shop near you, ask your friendly local game store to go to goblinshut.com for info on stocking the Dirty Down liquid effects line. You can also purchase Dirty Down directly there as well. And right now, all listeners of the Remembrancers Retreat can get 5% off their order from goblinshut.com with our promo code RR30K. And if you're a patron of our podcast, you will gain an additional 10% for a total of 15% off your order. That's goblinshut.com. Use promo code RR30K.
So we've now officially covered all of the provinces. What provinces? You do a militia army. What provinces you sticking together?
I have 2 I've been thinking of.
All right, what do you got?
Fire away, Mike.
Okay. So the first one is what I've been thinking about for a while and have been waiting for the right rules to do it with. But it's very straightforward. It's going to be Warrior Elite and Legacy of the Great Crusade. Because I just want a bunch of Grenadiers in Zone Mortalis. Give everyone shotguns. Make sure they can hit with them. And use the new Imperial Navy Breachers.
Hell yeah.
Solid.
And
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
boarding squad.
absolutely.
The second thought I had is I actually thought of when we were talking about Ogren combined with Gene Crafted. Because I feel like the weirdness you're getting there and the unreliability would be a really cool way to do the litho golems that we hear about the Death Guard putting down on
yeah.
Venus.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I love about militia is that they are perfect for any of those creepy opponents of the Great Crusade that you heard about. You can do a militia army, especially with this new rule set. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. So we know you're doing Ogren. What's your other providence?
Feral, so they can all get 2-point chain axes and beat up on Marines with weapon skill 5 in combat.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, chain axes for Ogren is so silly good. The way I went, though, I was kind of waffling a little bit back and forth between would it be a better idea to give them an extra close combat weapon or a thunder snub, or to go boarding shields and get them a little bit more resilience with a 5-up invulnerable. And I ended up going with the boarding shield for 2 reasons, for the most part. I do have a couple in 8-man Ogren squads with the little thunder snubs just because I modeled them with like hilariously huge revolvers, and that's funny. But I think that 5-up invulnerable save combined with the medic, a 5-up followed by a 6-up isn't a huge number of saves, but over a game in a squad that's absolutely going to be taking a lot of fire, I think it's pretty handy and it's going to be pretty useful for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even the basic Ogren have 4 attacks each, and with a chain axe that's strength 6, so you're wounding on rerollable 2s against Astartes, you're just going to force so many wounds through that, I mean, especially with like weapon skill 4 or 5, you're going to force so many wounds through on Marines that they're going to fail saves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be a glorious day. I can't wait. I've seen the Ogren you're using. They're delightful.
Yeah, I've been painting on them as we've been talking. It's going to be good days.
Happy times are here at last. All right. Jared left. Steven, you swore 2019 would be the year of the rat, and well,
Yeah.
or 2020 would be the year of the rat.
So yes, I have 2 militia ideas as well. One which is relatively recent, and then one which has percolated in my head for many, many, many years before I actually knew what heresy was. But the first one is, as Austin and I refer to them as moon mice. They are modeled as like mutant Skaven, basically just hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes and hordes of rats with whatever they could grab. They have a pistol. It might have bullets. We'll see. But I think for that one, not Warrior Elite, Feral Warriors is definitely a must. So we get that weapon skill 4. We can add some chain weapons in there, mostly just for shred. The strength is nice, but really I want that shred representing the claws, the teeth, the fluff-wise, as Austin and I came up with one day. They're just herded into battle by word bearers, and if they survive, fantastic, but they won't. So Feral Warriors definitely there, and then probably Debased Rabble or Tainted Flesh, just like classic Muty army.
Mm-hmm.
Get into combat, get out of combat via death. But the one that I think that one's kind of indefinitely delayed, just because modeling it has been so hard. The Clan Rat kit is so difficult to work with that arm molded there right into the side, and Storm Vermin have apparently taken a leave of absence from this plane of existence. So it's been difficult to find the parts that I need. But the one that I'm more specifically looking forward to is right around the time when I reached the financial stability necessary to really like hoard parts and basically get whatever kit my heart desired. Is right around the time that Imperial Armor 13 came with the updated Renegades and Heretics list.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things in that is that for the most part, all of the infantry was just like shitty renegades, right? Like militia levels or worse. But you could, after taking your cult demagogue, select a specialization for them to kind of represent what type of traitor mortal army they were. And the one that I enjoyed the most was the one that was modeled like Traitor Guard, just a regiment that had been trained up to guard standards and then turned traitor, or perhaps had been raised on Chaos Worlds on their own, a la Blood Pact. So they had carapace armor, or flak armor, and more importantly, they had a real ballistic skill. So I've always enjoyed this idea of like a competent mortal army sworn to chaos, And then I read the Blood Pact, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So, Legacy of the Great Crusade, so that I can actually shoot at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it? Last page. Debased Rabble. So, Blood Pact, basically. They're good at range. They're competent. They can look with both eyes and squint. But then when you actually get into combat, they're going to run you down with bayonets, chain blades, their hands, whatever they got. And I have a pretty cool conversion that I've worked out right now. It's Krieger legs, Renegade Militia torso, and Skitari arms for those big, huge rifles.
Love those rifles.
Yep. Now I just need 100 of them.
So, not to rain on this parade.
Uh-huh.
So, Debased Rabble, you can't take Grenadier squads.
That's okay.
And Legacy of the Great Crusade, only the Grenadier squads, command cadres, and discipline masters get the +1 ballistic skill.
Oh no. Well, I guess I'll just have to do
You could do Warrior Elite, I think.
yeah, Warrior Elite
leadership
was going to be
bonus.
the next one. Just because the leadership, but I wanted to represent some form of like savagery in close combat because the gods
Feral?
demand.
Feral.
Yeah, it was probably going to be feral just for pretty universally reliable weapon skill and ballistic skill, plus
Blood
chain
Pact.
weapons. Yeah,
Yeah, the Blood Pack
Yeah.
does love their chain axes.
They do.
Yeah,
Gaunt's always having to fight some asshole with a chain axe.
Plus,
Those
with,
dicks.
or I'll just give them bayonets and not even pay for the chain axe just for the extra weapon skill. Because the Chaos Gods like you to kill people up close where you can see the light go out of their eyes.
Yep. Yeah, so for me, I gotta say, so I built a Beastman militia army during COVID when we were, all locked in and couldn't do anything. Played it once in first edition and then died. It, 2 came out and militia died. And I've been thinking a lot. And like the standard would be Feral Warriors and Abhuman Muster, right? It's Beastman Army. There's plenty of gore. They have shooters, which I've been using as shotguns, and then Ungor, which just have shitty pistols and close combat weapons that I've been running as Levy. But both of those units are kind of iffy enough that if I wanted to count the Gore as regular militia, or if I wanted to count the Levy as regular militia, I kind of have that flexibility. And I can't. And so, like Feral Warrior, Abhuman Muster, it's the standard. But when I originally made the list, the Gore were Grenadiers and they were mechanized. So if I want to mechanize them, Abhuman Muster is kind of out because that bulky 2 makes life hard. And I can't stick them in Aurochs anymore. So I've been toying with the idea of Feral Warriors or perhaps Kinfolk Helots, and then Survivors of a Dark Age. And stick them all in. I have converted chimeras that are like open topped, count those as rhinos. And then that would also let me, because I have some extra Ungor lying around, do some void jumpers that are just gargoyle wings, dude, with 2 like flintlock pistol in each hand and like 4 more
Pirate
just hanging
style.
off of it.
Just a
Pirate
brace of
style.
pistols.
Yeah, just like 6 pistols and just fucking going at it. And that's what I want in my life. And it makes me very happy. And really, this whole list makes me happy. I've got endless ideas. I bought one day, Warlord Games sometimes has a sprue sale. And I kind of bought 150 Napoleonic Hanoverians, which kind of looked like Mordians because it was $50. And then I scrounged 150 las rifles to put las rifle tips on all their guns because I'm a monster. And I'm thinking like maybe Unending Horde for them. With perhaps Warrior Elite, and they'll just be shitty but fancy and just die in droves, and that's all they're good for, and it just makes me happy. There's just so many different things you can do with this militia list, both with the new units that have come in and all these new provinces. It really is a joy. It's been worth the wait. Got to say, they said originally, I think this list was to come out in like December-ish. Well worth them taking the extra 4 months to like nail it down and do it right and make it beautiful. I'm just so happy. And that's all I got.
Good time.
Over the hills and far away, o'er the hills and o'er the mains, through Flanders, Portugal and Spain, King George commands and we